my lovelies, so to get this project started, we're going to do the 2 cups or the bra cups before we can do the bottom of the top. So to start with our bra cups, you're going to pretty much do based on the size of your bust. So I'm going to do, my bust is an A cup. So if you're bigger, then you're going to start with more chains to start the cup. If you're smaller than that, then you will do less chains. Okay, so for me, I am going to do a chain of 15. So I'm going to do my slip knot just like I would usually do it, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to create a foundation chain of 15 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so to start off our first row, we're going to turn the chain this way. Okay, and we're going to work in the back of this chain here. So all of these bumps that you see here, we're going to be working into these bumps in the back of the chain, and we're going to skip this first chain right after your hook, and in the second one we're going to do a half double crochet, but we're going to go into the back of the foundation chain like that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do our half double crochet, and we're just going to yarn through all 3. We're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, and go in the back of the chain. Get that guy up there, you loop, and then go through all 3 loops on the hook, and you just continue to do this until you get to the end of this row. So this is our first row here, and by the end of it you should have 14 stitches altogether because we skipped our first one. Okay guys, so this is the end of my first row of the bra cup here. So as you can see, we pretty much completed both sides. So we looped around, and that makes the first row, and as you can see, it's very tight. This is going to be something that you're wearing, so it needs to be nice and tight. So as you can see, both sides, there's not too many big holes. There's actually not big holes at all. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with the second row. And the best thing to do at this point, if you want, is make sure you count to make sure you have 15 stitches on this side, and that you also have 15 stitches on this side. They need to be even, otherwise your bra cup is going to look crooked. So make sure you're always constantly counting and making sure you have 15 stitches on each side. Okay, all right, so to start our second row, I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and then I'm going to go ahead in this stitch right after the chain 1 here. I'm going to do my half double crochet. Okay, and then I'm going to move on to the next stitch and do my half double crochet, and you're going to do this pretty much to the end, and this is going to be a repeat row until you get the size of your bra cup that you're looking for. Okay, now I'm going to quickly tell you here. So when you get to this end, so you're going to continue to go until you get to the very middle here where we did our chain 1. Where we did our chain 1, so your last stitch is going to go here. Okay, and this is the stitch right before your chain 1 in the middle. And then inside this gap where you did your chain 1, so as you can see, it's a little bit bigger, you're going to put 2 stitches, chain 1, put 2 more stitches of half double crochet, and then you're going to move on, and this is going to be your first stitch where you're going to be doing a half double crochet, and then you will move on to this, do a half double crochet, and so on and so forth, and you're going to loop around all the way to here. Your final stitch is going to go right here, right there. Okay, and it's going to keep making this side flat, and it's going to keep making this side sharp like this. And the reason you're doing it, the two half double crochet, chain 1, 2 half double crochet in the same spot, is that it's going to create that rectangle in the triangle in the middle here. Okay, the corner of the triangle in the middle. So keep doing that. I'm going to do about 9 to 10 rows total, which is going to be to fit my size. If you have a bigger breast, like I said earlier, you're going to do as many rows as it will take to cover your breast. So I have gone all the way to row 9 of my bra cup here, and as you can see, it is more on a small side. I'm going to show you guys how to do the front here, and pretty much, so I'm all the way at the end of the row here. I'm going to do a chain 1, okay, and I'm going to turn my work like this, and I'm going to do a half double crochet in this gap right here, so just like that. And then in the next, so here, because there's no actual stitches to work into, you're just going to find a gap to do a half double crochet in. So I'm going to do this pretty much all the way to the end here, and when I get to this end here, I'm going to come back to you guys so we can go ahead and finish this part, start our second cup together before we start this next part of our top. Okay guys, so I did my half double crochet in the bottom here. So as you can see, it kind of cleans it up a little bit and makes it nice and flat. Okay, so now that I'm at the end here, we're pretty much going to end this, and I'm going to cut my strand. So I'm just going to leave a little bit of a long tail here because we're going to need to sew this to the bottom of our top. So I'm going to cut it somewhere right here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and fasten these off. And then I'm going to go ahead and get started with my second bra cup. Okay, so as you can see, this is pretty much how it looks like it's done. So go ahead and complete your second one. Obviously pause the video, make sure you save it to watch later so you don't lose it. When you're done doing your second cup off camera, come back to the video. We're gonna compare to see, and then we're going to go ahead and start our bottom of this top. Okay, all right, so I'll see you guys when you have your second cup done. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the bottom part of the top. And to do that, we're just going to go ahead and start. We're going to do a magic circle, but to do a magic circle, we're going to do about a chain of 10. So I'm going to do my slip knot first, and then I'm going to go ahead and do 10 chains. So 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect that to the first stitch of the chain. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab the last stitch here. It's going to be a little bit tricky. Just find the last stitch here, or the first stitch, and then do a slip stitch with it, and just like that. Okay, all right, now that we have that we have just created a magic circle. So this little hole here is our magic circle. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do a chain of 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then in this circle here, we're going to do 19 total double crochets. Okay, so in the same ring, in the same circle here, we're going to do a total of 19 double crochets, and we're doing 19 because we actually need 20, but the first chain 3 that we just did at the beginning here counts as a double crochet. Okay guys, so I have my 19 double crochets into the space here, plus the first chain 3 to make it 20. Okay, and this is how it should look like. It looks more rounder right now, but just keep pulling the string like this. We're trying to make it look more like a crescent moon, or like half, like a half a pie type of thing. But don't worry too much if it's feeling too much. It's gonna kind of work itself out as we continue to work with this. But anyways, to go ahead and get started with our second row, I'm going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then turn your work, or turn my work in this case. And then not in this very first stitch after your chain 3 here, but the next one, we're going to do a double crochet stitch, because this chain 3 again counts as your double crochet. Okay, and then so now we have 2. And then for each of the next stitch, you're going to do a double crochet on top of it. So the next the next previous double crochet stitch from the previous row, you're going to do a double crochet on top of it. Okay guys, so I have completed my second row here, and I have 20 double crochets here as well. So as you can see, that's pretty much how your top, beginning of your top, should look like so far. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to our row 3. And for row 3, I'm going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to turn my work again to work backwards. And here I am going to, again, not work in this very first stitch here, but in this second one, I'm going to do my double crochet. Okay, Then I'm going to chain 1. In the next stitch I'm going to do another double crochet. Okay, chain 1. In the next stitch do a double crochet. So as you can see here, again we're repeating this until we get to this end. And now I'm going to show you the reason we did a chain 4 here instead of a chain 3 is because our first 3 chains count as a double crochet, and the fourth stitch, or the fourth chain is pretty much our space. So we're creating these spaces here. So you do a chain 1 between each and every one of your double crochet stitches, and it creates this little bit of a gappy look here like this. Okay, so as you can see, it's not as tight as this and it's not as tight as this, it's just a little bit gap here. So you're going to continue to do this pattern until you get to the end, and again you should have 20 stitches at the end of it. Okay guys, so I have gone ahead and done 19 so far of my double crochets, and the reason I stopped on the 20th one is so I can show you guys where to put your next stitch or your final stitch. So we have already done our double crochet here. I've already done a chain 1, and for this you're going to count 1, 2, 3, and in the third chain from the bottom of that you're going to do your double crochet there. Okay, so I wanted to come back and show you guys how to do that part because that is what it's gonna make it look nice. So as you can see, that is the end of our row 3 here. Okay, as you can see, starting to create that, it's like half a pie type thing going on. And now we're going to go ahead and start our row 4. Okay, now to start our row 4 we are going to do a chain of 10. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to turn our work, and we're going to, not this guy here, but on here we're going to skip one of these gaps. In the next gap we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, like that. And then we're going to do a chain of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to skip this gap. In the next gap we're going to do a single crochet. Then we're going to do a chain of 3 again. Skip this guy. On here we do a chain, a single crochet, and we should have 2, so we're going to do one more. So 1, 2, 3. Skip this guy. On this guy here do a single crochet. Okay, so on this side we have done a chain 10, and then skip this first gap. So the first gap between the 2 double crochets, we skip that. On the next one we do a single crochet, do chain 3, skip this space, do a single crochet, do a chain 3, skip this space, do a single crochet, and we have now, so there's a big gap here, and then we have 3 little gaps. Now that we're walking in the middle, we're going to do a chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to skip this gap here. In the next gap we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, and then we're going to do a chain of 7 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and skip this gap. In the next gap we're going to do a single crochet. So now we have 2 big gaps in the middle. Okay, so it looks like, you know, like what does it look like, bunny ears? Anyways, so we have, or like cat ears. So we have the big gap, 3 gaps, 2 big gaps in between, and then we're going to do 3 little gaps again. So we're going to do a chain of 3. So 1, 2, 3, skip this space. In the next space we're going to do a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip this gap. In the next do a single crochet, do chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, skip this gap. In the next gap do a single crochet. Okay, so now again we have 3 little gaps to mimic exactly this side. And now for this here we're going to do a chain of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, and in the third we're going to do a double crochet. So in the third chain we're going to do a double crochet. So I'm going to explain something really quick here. By the way, this is called a virus stitch. Okay, so for those of you who have done shawls, from my channel before, we're pretty much working on the same stitch that we did our shawls with, okay, Vita shawls with. So just to so you guys understand, we did a chain 10 here. The reason we did a chain 10 is because the first 3 chains counts as these double crochet here. Okay, so we're trying to make these sides exactly the same. And then we did 3 little spaces. Then we did 2 gaps of 7 chains each. And then we did 3 little spaces of chain 3 each. Then we did a chain 7 and did a double crochet to make these the same as this side. So the first 3 chains here count as a double crochet. So it's this part here, and then the chain 7 and the chain 7. Okay. All right, so you guys hopefully understand that. And so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next row. We are going to do a chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, turn our work. And in this space here, we're going to work 10 double crochets, but we're not going to do 10. This first one counts as the first. So we're going to do 9 in here to make it 10. Okay, so that's 2. Let's say 2 because this is the first one. 3, so that's our 10 double crochets in this chain 7 space from the previous row. And then we're going to just go right into this space, the first space that we did a chain 3 on. We're going to go right into that space and do a single crochet. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then in the next gap here where we did our single 3 chains from the previous row, we're going to do a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to repeat that in the next gap. Okay, so now we went from 3 gaps of 3 chains each to now 2 gaps of 3 chains each. Okay, and then we're going to jump right into this chain 7 space from the previous row to do our double crochets. Okay, so that's 1, and we're going to do 10 total here. That's 2, so we have done 10 double crochets in the last chain 7 space from the previous row. And then we're going to we have pretty much completed the other half of this side, and now this other half is going to be the exact duplicate as this side. So we have done 10 double crochets here. We're going to move right into doing 10 more here. Okay, and then single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, and then 10 more here. So we're just literally duplicating what we have just done on this half of these sides. I have done my 10 double crochets here, so as you can see, this is how it should look so far. Okay, and that is the end of our row, I believe 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sorry, our end of our row 5. And we're going to go ahead and start our row 6, and this is going to pretty much end up being it's going to end up being a repeat row, because at this point on we're going to repeat what we did right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to do, we're going to go ahead and do a chain 3. So, there you go. 1, 2, 3, turn our work. Not in this very first here, but in the next here, we're going to do a double crochet. Okay, so that's 2 because the chain 3 counts as a double crochet. And then we're going to pick up on the next stitch, we'll do double crochet. And we're going to do this double crochet for all 10 stitches here. Okay. So as you can see here, I have gone all the way to the last stitch here. So each double crochet from the previous row should have a double crochet on top of it. So 1, 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So I have 10, and then I'm going to do a single crochet in this gap here. Okay, chain 3, and then a single crochet in this gap here, and then I'm done here. So we went from 3 small spaces of 3 double crochet, 3 chains each, to 2, to now just 1. Okay, and then from there I'm going to jump right into doing my double crochet right here, and that's 1. And I'm going to do 1 on top of these stitches all the way to here. So you should have 20 total. So you're not doing any chain, anything over here. You're just going to go ahead and do your double crochets until you get to here, and make sure you have 20 stitches. And then you're going to repeat exactly what we did here. After your 20th double crochet right here, you're going to do a single crochet in this gap, chain 3, single crochet in this gap, and then go ahead and do your 10 double crochets on top of these 10 double crochet stitches here from the previous row. So I'm going to let you guys come all the way to this end. When you have completed your last double crochet here, come back and I will show you guys how to start the next row, which is going to be a repeat row, like I said. Okay, so see you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I have come all the way to the end of my row 6. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6, yes, that's row 6. And I'm going to go ahead and start row 7. So this is the row we just pretty much do double crochets all around, except for these corners here where we make sure we do a single crochet, chain 3. Okay, and now we're going to start our row 7. And in this row, this is the row where we do a chain 4. So 1 2 3 4, and remember the first chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and the last chain counts as a space that we're making between each of the double crochets. So again, we don't work into this very first stitch after your chain 3. We go to the next one, we do a double crochet there with chain 1, and we do a double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and chain 1, a double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and again, this is going to be exactly what we did in the previous row, except for the space that comes up here, this space that we have coming up here. We're just going to do a single crochet in that gap and then move on. So we're going to close off those spaces completely, and we're going to be creating another one of those sets when we move on to the next set of the rows. But for these, you're just going to continue to do your single double crochets, the chain 1 in between them, and you're going to do that for the next, for these 10 stitches. And then when you get to the middle, then we're gonna go ahead and change it up a little bit there, like I said. Okay, so that's my 10 double crochets here, and then we're going to, so there's now just one space of the chain 3 from the previous row left. We're just going to go into that and do our single crochet, so we no longer have any more spaces, and then we'll move on to the next stitch to do our double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. And again, you're going to repeat these all the way to the end of this row. And I'm just going to show you guys here what I'm talking about. So what we did here is pretty much what you're going to repeat. So we're going to do this double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1 in each one of these stitches all the way until here. When you have done your 20th double crochet right here, you're going to do a single crochet into this gap right here, go right into this gap and do a single crochet, then move on to starting your next 10 double crochets with chain 1 in between them on this side. So it's going to look just like this right side here. And when you're done with that, come back, and then I'll show you guys how to start the next row, and then I'll have you guys pretty much repeat until you get the size that you're looking for. Okay, so I'll meet you guys when you get to this end here. Okay loves, so I have gone ahead and completed this row here. So as you can see, we are done that row. This is pretty much this row that we did here, you guys. So if you remember, we did this third row with a double crochet with a chain 1 in between them all around. So that's pretty much what we did. So like I said, again, it becomes a repeat from there. So as you know, what we did after this was we did the chain 10, and then we did the chain 3s, chain 4, 7, chain 7, chain 3s, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to show you how to do that row, and then after that I'm going to have you guys repeat and create your top until you get the size that you're looking for. Okay, So we're going to do our chain 10 here for this next row. So 1, 2, turn our work. We're going to skip this space here, first one. In the next one here, we're going to do a single crochet and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip this gap. In the next gap, do a single crochet, chain 3, skip this gap. In the next gap, do a single crochet, chain 3, skip this gap. In the next gap, do a single crochet. So we have our 3 gaps here. So chain 10, chain 3, chain 3, chain 3. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the next step here, and we're going to do a chain of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to skip. So this space here we're skipping this, and this here on this side we're skipping. We're going to move on to the next one here and do our chain single crochet. So again, just keep in mind, we're not skipping just one space because we want to work with this valley here. So we're skipping one gap on this side. We're going to move on and skip the next gap on that side, and then do it on the second one on the other side. So that's how that gap should look like in the middle. Okay, all right, and now that we have that, we're going to do chain 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, skip, and then do your single crochet. Oops, let's do that again. Do a single crochet here, chain 3, skip the gap and go into the next and do a single crochet, chain 3, skip this gap. In the next gap, do a single crochet, and that's our 3 here. So this is how we keep increasing. So as you can tell, in the last one we didn't have this gap to do the chain 7, and we also only just had one space of this chain 3, but now we're going to have 2 on this side and 2 on this side. Okay, so this is pretty much how we keep increasing it. So now that we have done our 3 chain 3 spaces, we're going to go ahead and do our chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to skip this gap. In the next gap, we're going to do a single crochet, chain 7 again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then skip this gap, and in the next gap we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, so what we just did here is what we did here. So these things that look like eyes right here is going to be what these are up here. So it starts with 1 eye here, and then these 2, and it's going to continue to be 2 in every row that we do. Okay, and now that I've done my 2 spaces of chain 7s, I'm going to go back to doing my chain 3, skip this gap. In this gap, do my single crochet, chain 3, skip this gap. In this gap, do my single crochet, chain 3 again, final one, skip this gap. In this gap, do my single crochet. And as you can see, it's exactly what we had on this side. We're going to repeat here. We're going to do a chain of 7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to skip this gap and this gap on this side, and on the second one we're going to do our single crochet. So as you can see, we're pretty much duplicating this side again, and then of course we're going to do our chain 3, skip this gap. In the next gap, do a single crochet, chain 3, skip this gap. In the next gap, do a single crochet, chain 3, skip this gap. In the next gap, do a single crochet. So that's where we have our 3 now. And then finally we're going to do our chain 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're going to do our double crochet in the 3rd chain from the base of the chain 3 from chain 4 from the previous row. Okay, so now this is what we have. So you can see it's looking very familiar with what we did in this row here. So I'm going to have you guys then repeat what we did next. So after we did our chains, what we're going to do here is we're going to chain 3, do 9 double crochets in this gap to make it 10 with the chain 3, single crochet in here, chain 3, single crochet in here, chain 3, single crochet in here, chain 10 in this gap here. Okay, and then we go right into doing a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, 10 double crochets in here, 10 double crochets in here, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, 10 double crochets in this space here, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, 10 double crochets in here. Okay, and then when you finish that row, you repeat this row here where we just literally chain 3, turn our work, do a double crochet in each of the previous double crochet stitches, and then keep in mind when you come here you have to decrease the gaps just like we did in here. So go ahead and do that, and then come back when you have the desired size that you're looking for. So what I'm doing is I'm building it to a point where it just goes right to my belly button. So just right from underneath my breast to where my belly button goes, and then I'm gonna stop there, and then we will go ahead and move on to the next step, and then eventually joining the cup, the bra cups to the base of the top. Okay, my lovely, so I have gone ahead and completed the size that I'm looking for my top. So as you can see here, I have built it up a little bit more. I have 15 rows total, and this is because this is the size that I would like. It's a small, so if you're looking to make a top for your size and you're a medium or a large or an extra large, then of course you will continue to build these up to fit your need. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it here. So it's 15 rows, and I'm going to, so as you can see, this is my 15th row here, and my final row here is the row where we did our double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. So if you're doing the exact same amount of rows, then that's where you should be ending as well. I think what I will do is I will do a row of double crochet because we've been doing double crochets here, so which means I'm going to chain 3. And then in this very first space here, I'm going to do my double crochet, and then I'm going to do another double crochet in that same gap. Okay, then I'm going to move on to this next gap here and do a double crochet, and then I'm going to move on to the next to the same gap and do a double crochet, and here I'm going to do 2 double crochets in that gap. So I'm just kind of guesstimating things here, so this is not like a completely, you know, like it's unplanned, because I just finished it and then I realized I think it would be good to do something with it in the bottom here. So in this big gap here, let me see how many I can fit in, and then I'll have you guys repeat that to the end if you're following what I'm doing here as well. If you're not, then it's all good. You can just, you know, leave yours like that. So let me see how many I can fit in here without looking too crowded. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Let's do 6. It looks okay like that. So I have 6 double crochets in this big gap here, and so I'm going to move on to the next gap and do 2 double crochets in here, and then move on to the next space here and do 2 double crochets in that gap. Okay, and I'm going to have you guys repeat this to the end. All right, my lovely, so I've gone ahead and completed this final block here, or final, I guess, border you would say, of the double crochet stitch, just to make the bottom here nice and straight, and it gives us a nice base to work with when we work on the next step of the top. Okay, now I am going to show you guys how you're going to pretty much put your top together, but you're going to do it all by yourself because it's just literally connecting it. So what I'm gonna do is just right here, so as you remember, I did 6 double crochets in the middle. This is a good guide for me. So I am going to pretty much, the stitch right after this the 6 double crochets here, I'm going to sew my top like that. Okay, and the same thing on this side, just like that. So this is how my top is going to go on. Okay, and then I am going to do a strap that will go from here to here. So this is going to be the back of my top, is these straps here coming together. So I'm going to do a strap that will go from here, and now there's a strap here, there's a strap here that will connect this back like this, and then I'm going to do a strap on each of these top here. So I'm going to do a strap up here that will go up, a strap up here that will go up, and then when all of those things are done, I am going to come back to show you guys how it looks like at the end. Hey my lovely, so it's pretty much done. So as you can see here, this is the top. I'm just gonna show you guys the bottom. So this will be the part that goes right in the front of my belly and covers up to until my belly button. Okay, and then when you move it up, it goes to where your bra cups are. And then this is the part that ties in the back. So these straps are the ones that are gonna tie in the back of the top. And then these two straps over here are the ones that will tie on the back of your neck to hold your boobies together, your girls together. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I love this top so much. It looks so much like a festival type top. So I hope you guys again enjoyed making this top with me, and if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so, because you don't want to miss making fun things like this. Especially for the summer, I'm gonna be making a whole bunch of tops that are just nice and cute and playful and colorful and just enjoyable to kind of make for the hot season. So please subscribe so you don't miss any of those, and of course go ahead and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos that I put up every week, and then comment if you have any questions as well as like the video. Okay, so I will let you guys go from here. Thank you so much again. Love you guys. See you next time. Bye bye. Ciao ciao.